Hello, Bambu Labs NeXT, Apple, YouTubers, randoms. I've been battling, I guess you'd call it the filament blues. I've lost my voice probably from inhaling all these damn fumes coming off this thing, trying to fix the problem. So if you see, the filament is actually a pink filament now. It's going all the way through the tube. One guy said, yeah, tape this back here. And so I've tried to keep this pretty close to the cuff back here. I stretched out my little AMS unit, the 4-port distributor. I took away the 4-way switch or hub there just to try and make it path of least resistance to defeat this evil animal. Now, there have been several methods that I am not sure are in the manual. One guy's like, dude, get yourself like, he's got like an actual blowtorch, I think. And I got a fireplace starter. And anyway, I think that his method would end badly because he wants you to heat like an Allen wrench and then stick the hot Allen wrench down in there after you remove the PTFE tube. And then you stick a filament down in there and, and supposedly the filament sticks to the Allen wrench. He's like, yeah, it works. I'm sure, dude. But, you know, I'm pretty much a klutz and would probably wind up melting half the shit in there. So not ready to do the ultimate sacrifice yet. Also, I think I discovered my cat Bella has discovered the 3D printer, which is not good news for our elf on the shelves. Yep. I found them on the floor. And then headless. So there's only, you know, I got to check the time-lapse photography, but I'm pretty sure she did not want anything to do with the elf on the shelf. So that would go viral if I can find that. I got to figure out, we might need to implement the Bella Cam just to see if it's like the Pink Panther, right? She's old too. I don't even know how she got up here, but I don't know how else it could have happened. Poltergeist, maybe. So there's our filament. I went ahead and I got barbecue gloves. You know, in case all else fails, I can cook hot dogs in here. But now the methods, there was another guy, he had me, you know, unscrew 15. Like you take this thing off, set it to the side, and you can kind of use the controls to move stuff around. But man, you know, what happens if you take the tube out and the thing off to the side and hit the wrong button? Then this thing starts going haywire in there. I mean, you could lose a hand. It's like winging around, crashing into stuff. I'm like, that can't be the way either. You know, and here comes our culprit. Bella, do you know anything about this? Huh? Do you know anything about the headless elf on the shelves? Yes? I know that when you catch bunnies, squirrels, and birds, you bite the head off and then leave them at the front door. I suspect this may have been you. There are people probably out there cheering. But, you know, he deserved to live. And his buddies. No more Santa, I guess. You know, because you're supposed to leave the door open so the prints don't warp. But what about if you've got a cat that now knows about this thing and is just waiting for spaghetti, you know, because it'd be on like Donkey Kong. Yeah, she's like, this is an awesome cat toy. So, and she's going to add commentary throughout this video. All right, enough of that. So, it's failed. We're going to retry it. We can watch what happens here. Front cover of the tool head. Yeah, I probably should put that back on. At least they got stuff pretty much idiot-proof. They're probably watching my videos. Oh, shit, we better do that now. I mean, what do you do for cats? So you can have like a barking dog noise in here? I mean, what little little short shot or like one of those high frequency things? I mean, I'm sure, what if the cat chases a mouse into this thing? I mean, there's all kinds of scenarios I'm seeing played out. I want to see a compilation of the best spaghetti meltdown videos. If you're interested in contributing out there, I want to see it from the seasoned guru vets. You're 3 days into a print and then it goes to spaghetti with no way to recover from G code. I want to learn how to do that too, because we might be able to save these Santa Clauses somehow. I think you'd have to reposition them and then figure out the G code where they stopped. Where's like a cat paw coming in. Okay, so we're going to rule out the blowtorch method. That seems a little too sketchy and kind of like Wild West cowboy. And I think the other one I took the head out. There's 2 screws that hold that in, then that whole thing comes out. Unplugged all these little connectors up here. I'm pretty comfortable doing this stuff as I've worked on computers over 30 years. And so I'm starting to get a handle on this thing. And then from there, once you have that hot end in your hand, there's some components that you can pop off. It looks like a ceramic one. I think those are like sensors. And that's where I stopped. I said, man, there's got to be a better method. So I ordered a Panda. Now, those guys look like they have a good concept because all that wiring stuff is stored in the hot end, and you can screw it off on and off by hand. And it looks like it'd be hella easier to loosen up clogs. There's also a little part called a press. I like the concept of it. So it holds your pokey needle straight up and down. So you heat it up and then, run the hot poker through it. And I had some success with that. I ordered a bunch of those. You get a kit for like $7 on Amazon. And I can show you some of this stuff. Right now, I'm kind of having fun with it. I want to get this thing back up and running. And I'll probably bring the other one online now that I've got the desk one constructed. And I was going to start another Temu coffee table project, but I figured I would kind of update you guys because I know there's like 3 of you out there in the world wondering what was going on. You're maybe experiencing the same thing. I guarantee I'm not like just a one-off experiencing this head clog. My head is clogged from like all the fumes coming off the printer. I'm having flashbacks to the day, man. I'm not sure what you're doing to me here, Bambu, but brain cells have also been sacrificed. I found that taking the glass off, I printed one of those risers. So I'm going to have full LED up there. I managed to get that one done. I can show you how that works, once I get this printer back up and running. Okay, so back to this thing. We're going to just retry. I'm just trying to print a Benchy and see what happens here. So I just go to this little on-screen display. I know many of you can feel my pain. I feel yours if you're experiencing, because this is like a sophisticated one. My old roommate Todd stopped by earlier, and he's like, you mean it does all this auto leveling and everything else? I was like, yeah, it does all that. Balancing XYZ, automatic heat up, runs the thing. You can see it from your computer, and it still gets jammed. But it's probably something I'm doing. Okay. So we're going to see what happens here. Now we've got our little filament. You can kind of see it in there, so we can kind of watch it retract. So I think I've got this. There's a couple points that you have to be careful with this PTFE tubing. You want that dead on in each connector on each side. And then up here. Now I had a little plastic part that I think might go around that collar. I'm going to look at an exploded view of the part, because that would kind of explain why it's maybe kinking right there. If there's an additional part that's kind of like a turtleneck for that connector. You ever do something, disassemble, reassemble, and have a leftover part? Yeah, and then there's that. So I'm thinking that's probably where that's from. You want to make sure that this, whoever the genius was and decided to put this connector inside this housing, I don't know what kind of crack you were on that day. Dude, how do you expect people to unplug that thing and plug it back in? Okay? And then you got this thing like all cattywampus under here as well. Why not put the connectors where people can actually see them? What I did is I have like a little mirror on a stick that I was able to put down there, and then I was able to see which way the connection went. And then this one goes into the back of the AMS unit, and you want to connect it to the left side back there. Okay, so we can kind of see. Let's see if it's going to retract that thing. It looks like there's a kink in this line too, so I'm going to have to probably replace that PTFE, because that's bound to bugger stuff up at some point. Although that's kind of in an area where I think it'll push it right past it. I think there's more issues up by the connectors. So we'll see what this thing does here. Watch, it starts printing. I go, what the hell? Come on, man. Okay, so. All right, so we can see it's pulling right there. Where you see that, how it changed it? So it's going all the way back down in. So now it's retracted all the way, then it's going to try and push it all the way back up. I want to make sure that this is securely in there. And I think it's jamming right there. And then it pulls it back. And it goes through this heinous act 5 to 10 times, okay? As if once isn't enough. And if you try and stop it, and you have like stuff open here, this thing goes haywire, you know. I don't know, man. There's got to be a better way, okay? So the Bambu way is to take this head off, and why, you know, why they don't have a little place to hook this over here is beyond me, especially when the thing starts going bananas. And then it's got a little clip that releases. You pull this up, and it's called a cold pull. So far, I haven't been successful at that, but it's a heck of a lot easier than all this other stuff I'm seeing. And that's direct from Bambu, manual videos, everything. You can go online. You know, as I say, RTFM, read the friggin' manual. And that's on me. I should have done that to begin with. But I like adventure, so I just kind of, you know, I'm always in too much of a hurry sometimes to do this stuff. And it comes back and bites me in the boo-boo. So at any rate, sorry about my voice. As I say, it's a combination of, I caught the latest virus from my assistant, Lori. And, you know, she has like grandkids and, you know, 5 kids. And so there's like an entire busload of people she can catch viruses from and bring them over to be the most susceptible person on earth to catching anything. I should be like Bubble Boy. So at any rate, this, I'm going to guess it's already throwing an error message. They probably could do sound alerts. So, you know, I should figure out a way to cast a screen back there when we're troubleshooting. Because it's hard for me to stand and sit and everything else with a fractured hip. Okay, so it's giving you these cryptic codes. In the manual, it describes what these codes are. Like every 2 digits means something. And they've got wiki pages linked to them, okay? But we're going to screw the wiki right now. And just, we've done the retry. I know what to do, okay? I'm going to try the cold pull method, which involves taking that filament out back here, setting that thing to the side, and then you got to go into the manual and set the temperature. And if I can find my tripod, I guess I could film it. I mean, my videos are so spectacular anyway, but I'm making progress, man. I'm like the Rain Man, or not the Rain Man, but Lawnmower Man, if you've ever seen that movie. He gets more and more intelligent the more he works on stuff. I will figure this out, and I will have working solutions that I will give away free to anybody just for putting up with watching and being moral support, if anything else. 3D printing, it's fun, they said. It's great when this stuff works and it's on autopilot. But apparently, just we now have an excuse. We can blame it on the cat or the dog. The dog must have bumped it, because you got to explain why there's another $20 of spaghetti-like filament everywhere. Oh, it's not cheap. In fact, I was thinking of sending a support ticket into Bambu. What do we do about apparently cats want to know how to 3D print. So they could have the 3D cat toy feature where it just makes spaghetti. And I think most of us would be really good at that one. All right, stay tuned. More fun stuff to come from the black hole. We're going to try the cold method. Then there's one where you wear gloves. I mean, I got barbecue gloves. Stay tuned for that. So there's no possible way to get burned by the hot end. And you take the thing out, and then we get to play with needles, I guess. And you jam the needle down in there, and the goop melts and sticks to it. So yeah, this is like really meant for kids. I mean, YouTube asks, is it safe for kids? I don't know. I don't think we want to play with blowtorches, stuff that can poke your eyes out in high temperature filaments. But who knows? Kids these days are probably all over it. They make us look like fools. All right, have a good evening. It's Friday. Hey, I got the weekend. If worse comes to worse, I'm going to set up the second one, so at least I have one that's productive. And as I say, once that panda thing comes in, I think that'll be easier. Now, Bambu, what the heck? I mean, you've got it so you can switch out heads, okay? But then you've got all these little wires and clips and everything else. And I'm like worried because, if you have to resolder some of that stuff, it's like I've got a microscope and like, most people aren't going to have that type of skill, including we old people. How the heck do you think we'll be able to solder some wires that look like pretty much this? You can't even see them, if in case they come loose. And the first thing you have us do is remove the sheath that covers these two surprise gotchas. Then you have to, I'm not even sure if they're glued on there or what, and then you're supposed to fit all that stuff back onto a hot end. Can't you just sell me the complete unit for an extra $10? And then, it's just 2 screws in, 5 connectors, and boom, boom, swap out, there goes it. But no. So hopefully the Panda Bear guys have it figured out. It looks like they do. But there's people complaining about that too. But, I mean, it looks pretty sound. If I can, exchange heads out with just unscrewing something without having to get into the nuts and bolts of it, because it's not hard. I learned you can raise and lower this bed. I'll make videos about all this stuff. Because sometimes I think it's better to just have comedy at this, because a lot of us that are just starting out, we're pretty much like deer in the headlights, aren't we? I mean, I'm not alone in this. I see plenty of videos. And many of us have cats and dogs too. Look, she's just waiting for me. She's like, the second that thing starts up again and you're out of sight, I'm going for the elf man. All right. Stay tuned. More fun stuff to come from the black hole, where we may eventually be able to print stuff again. Peace out.